Hey guys, welcome to Makeup for Headshots, coming to you from Ozzy Headshots, currently in warm, sunny North Carolina, OzzyHeadshots.com. I'm your host, Amy E Osborne, at your service. I'm a headshot photographer and retoucher, and an associate of world premiere headshot photographer Peter Hurley at peterhurley.com, total legend. You can find both of us over at his coaching platform, Headshot Crew, headshotcrew.com. At the time of this recording, Master Jedi Hurley, as I like to call him, has 108 associate photographers around the world. I like to move around a lot, but I'm currently holding down the fort as his one and only in sweet North Carolina. You guys, I love to begin a headshot session with a really natural, hydrated, no makeup look, and then transition across the session to a more polished, more dramatic, more glowy evening look. As the styling changes across a shoot, so does the mood of the shoot, the way you feel, the way you hold yourself, and the expressions we can capture. Okay, so I've begun collecting images via my makeup Pinterest board, and I think these images represent the range pretty well, the range we've been talking about. For those of you who aren't sure how Pinterest works, I'm just going to mention real quick, I did not take these pictures. You can click on each one for more information. I did, however, purchase the rights to some images so I could show you up close. I find it amusing that when you do a search for a no makeup look, you get a bunch of women who look like they're supposed to be at the spa. And this one actually looks like she really could be. I would buy that she just rolled out of bed. What do you guys think? Very natural. She might well have no makeup on at all. Maybe even some makeup still on from last night. On that eye on camera left. This little sister could use some chapstick or lip balm or something too, and a brow brush. But overall, I'd say it's a good example of a no makeup look because I believe it took product and skill and time and effort to create, and the intention was for it to look as natural as possible, and I think they did a good job. This third one, though, I would say falls outside the range. It's not only the lashes that overwhelm me, it's also those sharply defined, overly neat, bold brows, and the base, which is quite light for her, and I would say quite full coverage. And then there's the matter of this shimmery highlight that I think I'm seeing down the nose. A lot of makeup gurus do this, and I don't recommend it for headshot sessions for reasons I'll explain later. This video was made for you if you are interested in the topic and want to hear the recommendations of a headshot photographer / skincare and makeup enthusiast. Please note, I am not, at the time of this recording anyway, a licensed esthetician, which is what's required for practicing makeup artists in my state. I have, however, for the past year and a half or so, been really focused on rapidly learning as much as I can, and I'm hoping I can effectively condense and compress a great deal of information for you into one little snack-size video, the first in a series. May you find value in it, my friends. I love making this video for you, and I don't even exactly know who you are, but I imagine some of you are people I'm going to be working with down the line. Maybe you're a client, or a model, a makeup artist, a hairstylist, an image consultant, or a designer. Maybe you're another photographer. I'm really hoping that some of you are fellow retouchers, because I think it helps us to know this stuff as retouchers. Whoever you are, thanks for watching my video. May you enjoy it. And if you do, please click like. Feel free to share and comment. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I'm just getting started here. May we meet again. Okay, ready, steady, the prep. We can't talk about makeup yet. We have to talk about prep first. Wasn't there somebody who one time said, if you don't prepare, then you prepare to fail? I'm butchering it. You would think I would have looked it up. Okay, I looked it up. It was Benjamin Franklin, but I think you guys already all know that. He said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. End quote. Whether you're a do-or-die do-it-yourselfer or plan on teaming up with a gifted makeup artist, either way, whoever's doing your makeup should have the knowledge and skill, tools and products to achieve the desired result. Specifically, knowledge includes a clear understanding of the desired result. Okay, grooming and self-care next. So about the spa, if you have the time and the resources to go to the spa before your shoot, maybe the week before your shoot, I highly recommend it. Indulge in a facial with a trusted esthetician. To all the do-it-yourselfer types out there, if you've got the knowledge and skill, tools and products to do your own home spa, and that's what you'd rather do, then I say enjoy your home spa. You know, some exfoliation, extraction as needed, some hydration, and in general just some real tender loving care for your skin. If you also want to do some waxing or threading, that would be a good time to do it. Don't forget to inspect for visible nose hairs. I guess I don't have to warn you about ear hairs because I haven't really seen any girls who have ear hairs. If you do have ear hairs, then you just want to make sure that you remove hairs that are sticking out of your ears. I also recommend sprucing up your teeth. Day of the shoot, you want to make sure you've flossed and brushed your teeth. You might also want to look into whitening if it's been a while and you're looking a little dingy. I recommend avoiding the sun and faux tanning on the week of your shoot. Getting enough sleep, hydrating, nourishing your body, and packing refreshments for yourself, including plenty to keep you hydrated. Skincare routine is second to last. We're almost there. Just before the shoot, you're going to want to call on your skincare routine. Hopefully you have one. Your skin should be clean, balanced, and hydrated. Don't forget about your lips, under your eyes, and your lashes. Okay, prime time. Last thing, choosing the right primer to make this look work for you is important. I generally like to ask myself, what is the skin concern or perceived flaw that I want to address? And then I choose the product that targets that. You can find a primer for soothing, for smoothing, for pore minimization, for hydrating, illuminizing, mattifying. I recommend using your fingers and only the very smallest amount of the product as recommended, beginning in the center of your face generally and working outward until you no longer feel the product moving around under your fingertips. You can strategically place primers. For example, you could use a mattifying primer around your T-zone, and you could use more of a hydrating and or illuminizing primer elsewhere. There are primers for your face, primers for your lids, and primers for your lashes. Guess what? It's time to talk about makeup. I know I'm throwing a lot at you in a short amount of time, and I think you'll do okay with it. I believe in you. Are you guys having a fun time? Let's begin with brows and eyes. Some people like to begin with their brows and eyes. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. One great advantage to beginning with your brows and eyes is that if you need to clean up any edges or you need to dust off any fallout, you can do that without disrupting other makeup. First, I want to talk about color and value. When it comes to makeup for headshots, I recommend resisting the urge to go with wild, bold, vivid mascaras, shadows, and liners, and instead opting for a more natural palette. As for value, and by value here I mean the relative degree of lightness or darkness, my overall recommendation is to try to create a look where the eye looks brighter and lighter at the inner corner than it does at the outer corner. One exception is I do so love to see a lighter value product placed up on the brow bone under the brow, upward and outward from the outer corner of the eye. In the crease of the eye, which traces the orbital bone, you might see sort of a mid-tone, something darker than the lid, a tone that's maybe a little warmer. I like for my lash lines and my brows to be enhanced by a slightly darker value. I can hardly believe I didn't say this sooner, but after you prime your lids, you need to also neutralize them so that you don't see any of that discoloration there, and then you set with a powder. Moving on to shape and edges. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that I recommend going with a very natural shape for your brows. I'm all for cleaning up renegade hairs, but I like a pretty organic looking free-range eyebrow. I was not blessed with generous full eyebrows. If you were, congratulations. Sometimes I fill them in more and sometimes less, but I never create an outline around the brow itself. I'm always just creating hair-like strokes to fill them in. I don't generally recommend the use of brow stencils or overdrawing your brows or squaring off your brows. I like to keep a little spoolie/brow brush on hand during headshot sessions, so if you change your clothes and then your brows get a little disheveled, we can just get them looking nice again. It's okay if you want to wear a brow gel, but I think I actually prefer for them to just be soft and movable. Moving from the brows down to the eyes. I love how eye shape can differ so much from person to person. Accentuating your natural eye shape with the right tools and products for you is what I recommend for this natural look. I'll be putting some links below that I hope you'll find helpful, and I'll try to include at least one on eye shape for you. Especially with your eyes, you really want to make sure that all the transitions from dark to light and tone to tone are well blended, that they're smooth and there are no harsh lines. You want to make sure that you have really buffed out those edges. I think lash lines deserve their own bullet. For headshot sessions, I usually recommend a tight lining approach for the upper lash line when you're going with a no makeup look. When you want a more dramatic, more polished evening look, I really like a classic smoky eye. For this look, I recommend avoiding liquid liner and resisting the urge to wing out, since precise, bold, sharp lines and geometric shapes don't look very natural. I couldn't find any really subtle examples of winged liner that I liked, so I just went ahead and got these and just decided this would be more fun to show you. But you get the picture. You know what I'm talking about when I say winged liner. Even in a subtle way, it just often calls attention to itself. Okay, lashes. And the last topic before we move on from brows and eyes. Mascara, like many other makeup products, comes in a variety of different formulas that are designed to address a particular concern, or said more nicely, bring about a particular desired result. You can find some mascaras that are better for lengthening and separation, others that may be better for volumizing or curl. Of these features, I would say the most important to me for headshot sessions would be separation and curl. I like to wipe off excess mascara from the bristles of the wand and just touch the bristles to my lower lashes first, so that you can just see that they are slightly darker, and then curl the upper lashes and apply mascara to the very root, and then go ahead and dip the wand back into the formula and do a proper full coat from the root to the tips, and press back on the tips and hold for a moment just to facilitate that curl. And here's just a quick little public service announcement, although hopefully you've all heard this by now. You want to curl your lashes before you apply mascara so that you can avoid breakage. Right after you apply mascara, I recommend you inspect your lashes up close right away, and be quick on the draw if you need to use your lash comb or a dry spoolie to run through any clumps or help with separation. You want to try to do this before the mascara dries down, and as I understand it, waterproof mascara tends to dry very quickly and give you very little wiggle room there. But that quick dry time can often translate to some really nice curl. This here is about as far as I like to push my evening look for a headshot session, and I have to say the black leather made me do it. Everybody's different, and we all like to express ourselves differently. I'm still a student, and this picture was taken after a recent practice session where I was trying to push the boundaries of a natural makeup look and see how far I would go with it, and this is about as far as I would push the eyes in a headshot session. Okay guys, I think I really need to pick up the pace here. Where does the time go? I want this video to be snack-sized, and it is turning into some snack. Next topic, all about the base. Let's do this. Finding the perfect foundation for you is not just about finding the right shade. I'll definitely post a link below on choosing the right foundation. It's important to think about your skin type. It's important to think about any particular skin concerns. If you've ever done your homework, you know there are a lot of options. Like, what kind of formula do you want? Liquid, powder, stick, spray? Do you want a BB cream? Do you want a CC cream? What other kinds of creams are there that start with 2 letters? What coverage do you want? Sheer, light, medium, full? What finish do you want? Essentially, you have your different matte finishes like ultra matte, matte, natural matte, and then you have your natural and satin and radiant finishes. Sometimes you hear the radiant finish called dewy finish or luminous. It's important to remember that the finish of the primer you used may also come into play here. Specifically for headshot sessions, I tend to recommend formulas that have as much moisture as possible, so liquids and creams typically. I forgot to mention mousse. How could I forget to mention mousse? As for coverage, for this particular range of natural looks, I usually recommend something sheer like a tinted moisturizer or something light coverage. Now, you could get away with using a more medium coverage formula. However, you would want to use a tool that allowed you to sheer out that formula. I really recommend that you use as little as possible. It's amazing what just a tiny, tiny bit can do. Sheer layers. As for the finish, there really is no one size fits all, and I can't recommend one for you over the others. And the reason is because you might have very oily skin and need something more matte, or you might have very, very dry skin and need something extremely hydrating and glowy and dewy. I have combination skin, and I just can't wear a glowy and dewy foundation all over my face because I look like an oily mess, and it's not a good look. Okay guys, I'm going to show you approximately where I like to apply my concealer, and this is just really showing the general areas where I like to do it for my face shape and my particular skin needs. It gives you some idea. So I usually mostly like to concentrate right up under my eyes, and so then just use trace amounts of the product to blend it out and down and along my nose, and then on top of my nose, between my eyes, and just a little bit up in the center there between the brows. I like to put it on up on my brow bone. I like it down on my chin. Sometimes I put it on my cupid's bow, but and a little bit at the corner of my mouth. Of course, in actuality, the edges are blended out really seamlessly. Going on too thick with a concealer can really age you and add a lot of unwanted texture. Not good. You just want to make sure you're using sheer layers. Next, setting, and here really I want to talk about setting powder. I do use a setting spray at the end after my makeup is done, but here I want to talk about setting powder, translucent setting powder typically. Usually I like to take a pretty small fluffy brush and get a dusting on the brush and then use a press and roll technique to apply that setting powder very strategically, just in those very targeted areas. Being careful not to touch that translucent setting powder to places on my face where I would like a more dewy finish, like the cheekbones and the brow bone. How we doing, you guys? I've got a hurricane moving in on me. I'm trying to finish this video real quick for you and get it online before the power goes out, if it goes out. Hurricane Florence, isn't it? Let's see what Siri calls her.
Sorry, Ozzy. I don't have information about hurricanes, but I can't search for it on the web.
Siri, you know everything else. Anyway, it's Hurricane Florence. Let's talk about sculpting the face, shall we? So you're probably not surprised to see contour and highlight. These are the two usual suspects you would see here, but I was kind of happy to also put this guy on here, finish. And the reason is because you can use finish to help sculpt your face. I recently had this sort of like revelation that the way that we apply lighter values and darker values of makeup to the face, it seems to me the intention is to try to create an illusion that you have a really flattering, soft light source, roughly creating a loop lighting pattern, a really flattering lighting pattern on your face. And so we think about adding contour under the cheekbones, under the jawline, under the nose, in the socket of the eyes, under the orbital bone there, around the hairline. When we talk about highlighting, we're talking about adding a lighter value to the high planes of the face. And I already showed you that really when I talked about concealer, but here I'm talking more specifically about that shimmery kind of highlight, that glow kind of highlight, say on certain high planes of your face, up on the cheekbone closer to the perimeter of the face, on the cupid's bow, on the eyelids perhaps in the center, up on that brow bone, sometimes down on the clavicles. And when you're using a contour product, you want that product to be matte. You don't want that to have any glow to it because you want it to look like a shadow. Now, we really don't need that so much or to such an extent when you're in the studio with really beautiful, flattering lighting. I'm patting myself on the back, but I do use great lighting. You really don't need to do that stuff, and it can sometimes get in the way. Like if I want to light you a little differently than loop lighting pattern, which I often do, I actually want to light you a little differently. Maybe I want the highlight to be down under your cheekbone and not have that highlight up on top of your cheekbone, and I want to sculpt your face with light myself. Then I'm not going to want you to do all that work contouring and shaping your own face. So I ask people to go subtle on sculpting the face. Okay, we're going to talk about the cheeks. And really, I don't have a lot to say about the cheeks. I mean, I'm going to throw a bunch of bullets down here, and then I'm just going to say, try not to mess it up. You just did all that hard work. Don't go crazy. Be subtle about it. Don't get too close to the center of your face. And, have a fun time. Express yourself, but don't go too crazy. Okay, and lips. We've talked about having hydrated lips. One thing I'll say that I really want you to know is a public service announcement. Don't exfoliate your lips if you don't know what you're doing, or I should say, don't exfoliate them like I did. I totally scrubbed the, living daylights out of my lips and thought I was doing myself a favor, and then I really actually injured my lips, and they looked bad, and they were dry in those spots, and they hurt. That's not what they mean when they say exfoliate your lips, scrub the heck out of them. That's not the English translation of exfoliate your lips. Ooh. Stuff's banging. We got a hurricane coming and stuff is banging. So I better go. I'll just finish my thought on lips. Keep your lips hydrated always. A little gloss, a little balm, something like that. You could use some color, but just try to keep it natural. You guys, those of you who are still here, my goodness, thanks. What an honor. Thanks for spending your time with me. Hope you learned something. Hope you liked it. Hope you thought it was moderately entertaining. Minimally entertaining, I would accept. Okay, I better go. Bye. Sending love in every direction and signing off from Ozzy Headshots. Blah, blah, blah. Let's focus here. Horns are beeping, trees are blowing. Can you hear that? That's those trees banging up against the side of my apartment. At the rate I'm going, we will not have a snack-sized video. We will have like an all-you-can-eat buffet-sized video. But really, how badly could you screw up your cheeks and lips? I mean, if you screw up your cheeks and lips after all that hard work you just put in, that would be a tragedy. Maybe I better tell you a few things. And it's so important. And it applies to men and women. No, it doesn't. That's a noisy vehicle.